Welcome to Surrender School.
Thank you, Lori. With those who want a healthy relationship with food. All right, we are not an official 12-step meeting, but we do adhere to the spirit of the traditions. At Surrender School, everything that we offer is out on the website. Everything that we've offered for the past 3 years is out on the website. And so if you have questions about that, I really want to encourage you to go and kind of just look around the website because you'll find quite a bit of information. Watch the chat today. It'll come probably from Joy, and it has basically information about Surrender School and all the things that are there. And then also, if Surrender School has helped your recovery, please donate. I think it's a good thing to do. We're very fortunate that so many of our people are 12-steppers, and 12-steppers pay their way. So the donations people do donate, which is awesome. We are a 501(c)(3), so if you're in the United States, you can claim tax deduction on it. All right, we now have a second Zoom room. We will have a second Zoom room for about 3 or 4 more weeks, and then we will only go into room 2. But for right now, this is still, and the stuff that I'm related to is all still in Zoom room 1, but eventually it will not be, okay? So there are 2 Zoom rooms. If you go to the website and click on the link that is tied to that, those are now tied so that you go to the correct Zoom room when you click on it. So please feel free to do it that way. And then at some point in time, everything will be in room 2 until we grow so much that we need another room. So we're good to go. All right, there will be a B in front of your name if this week you are going to be leading a breakout room. The number of breakout rooms is determined by how many people are here. And the more people that are here, the more breakout rooms we do. It is really nice to have like 4 or 5 people at a max, and then to share in the breakout room. Okay, so the abstinence and recovery, which was Scarlett H. leading the things that Linda did back in May, that is canceled right now. We may come back and revisit it later at a different time. We think the time was probably not convenient for people. So for right now, that is canceled. So you don't want to go to that one. The reading room that Dave and Kim are leading beginning on Friday mornings. It is the last 3 weeks of every month. And the first week of the month is going to be the First Friday Enneagram exchange with Michael Naylor and me. And I'm excited about that. That starts November 7th. So that will be the first Friday of the month, and then the other Fridays will be Kim and Dave doing their thing. And also, we're just about to wrap up, I think 1 or 2 more weeks, I think 1 more week for Samantha's intuitive eating workshop. It has just been life-altering for me. It's been really amazing. It's really funny. I'm saying that for like everything because I just came from that thing this morning and it was life-altering too. I must be in a life-altering mode or something because things are changing me. And I'm not sure I'm real fond of that idea, but it is what it is. Okay, let's see. All right, let's talk for a second about the changes in schedule. We are now going to be finished with this on the 26th of October. So this week is the 12th, right? And so we are in full session this week. This is step 11. And then the 19th and the 26th will be step 12. And the final one, basically, there'll be a little bit of information that we cover, but it's going to be a lot about what did you learn, what has changed in your life, and all of that. That final session is going to be basically for people to share, even if it's minor growth. In some cases, it's major growth, but you figure that will have been 42 weeks of work. That's a lot of work. So 42 weeks of work. So what's happened with you? That's what we'd love everyone to share if you can. There won't be a breakout room, but mostly because I want to hear it too. So, and I'm being selfish on this, but I think that that's a good thing. Okay. So, and then I do want to say we have begun to work on what we're going to do for Supercharge. We're calling it Supercharge 2.0, going deeper. The audience for that are you, the people that worked on Supercharge this year. So it will be there's an A section for people that didn't go through Supercharge this year where they can watch the videos and so forth. And then there's a going deeper session, which is for all of you guys that did work the Supercharge this year. So we're going through that, and Joey and I are having a lot of fun pulling that together. That will start the beginning, or the first week of January, or like not the first, I think it's like the 10th or something of January, and it goes through the week before our retreat. So what we're hoping is everybody will work through that and then come to the retreat. So the retreat is the 12th, 13th, and 14th of June. And it's here in Las Vegas at the Tuscany. If you want to check out the Tuscany, we'll do more announcements and all that. You can't book a hotel room yet because we don't have those things in place yet, but just know that it's going to happen and we're excited about that. It should be just a wonderful weekend to spend together. So all of that is happening. So just note that. And by the way, one change that's going to be for next year, and I think many people have talked about this, so we're excited to do it. We're going to have there will be breakout rooms, but they will be specific, the same people week after week. We're going to leave who up to God. That's not going to be us deciding that. So basically, it's just going to be randomly placing the people. And then that will be the group that you get to know and love and work with and all that for those 26 weeks that we're working together. I think very often, anyway, we're excited about that. That was one of the requests that quite a few people came to us and said, can we meet with the same people in the breakout rooms week after week? That there's some great things there. And then we'll have some kind of methodology. If you can't bear to be in that room, we'll figure out something for you. So don't worry about that. We always do figure things out for you. All right, what else? So as of the 26th, we will have finished Supercharge, and then I will still hold my office hours, and the reading rooms and all the other things will stay the same through the end of the year, but we won't have anything. As a matter of fact, I'm going to also have office hours during this time slot. So we reserve this time slot between now and when we start up again. And that way, if you have any questions, there's so many people do research on your own on the Enneagram. I get links all the time to things. And so keep doing that because you'll learn deeper and deeper and deeper about yourself. So anyway, that's cool. Let's take a moment to feel your breath going in and out and feel your feet on the floor. Be as present as you can be today. And then let's say the Surrender School set aside prayer together. God, help me to set aside everything I think I know to leave space for what I have yet to learn. All right. The purpose of this, or the goal of this course, has been a personal journey. Our focus is to help you to understand the relationship between your true self and your false self, that ego self, and to treat yourself with unrelenting compassion because you are human. We're seeing blind spots we haven't seen before. So, but you have to be forgiving to yourself. All right. Or at least it's happier when you are. All right. So once again, some things to keep in mind, work the steps. And if you're just coming in now, I don't think anyone is, but if you are, when we start the thing next year, obviously, right, you know your type, we work the type. This whole thing has been working the steps by type. Next year is going to be same group, hopefully, working the steps by type, but going deeper, which is exciting. Okay. We do believe that self-contempt stops spiritual growth. Everyone has moments of self-contempt, or at least self-doubt, or at least maybe even self-hatred in some cases. But we think that working through that is what allows us to grow spiritually. And even though it's painful, a few weeks ago, I saw a quote and I loved it. Growth and comfort do not hold hands. So I remind myself of that, right? I'm growing right now, and growth and comfort do not hold hands. They're not enemies, but they don't hold hands. Okay, do the work, and we do believe that your recovery will be supercharged, and we believe that I've just seen such growth in so many people. It's been really exciting to be part of this. All right, and remember, of all the things you can be in the world, we ask that you be kind to yourself and to everyone else. Inquiry, which is asking and answering questions, allows you to see your patterns as patterns, and your projections, those stories you tell yourself. You get to see that, oh, this is a story I'm telling myself. And when that happens is what allows God in step 7 to basically help those things to disappear and to dissipate. And what in 12 steps are called defects, or we're calling defenses, that allows those to drop away and your life becomes better. Is it perfect? No, because you live here on earth. Life is never perfect on earth. So, but it is better. I will say that. Okay. Step 11 is sought through prayer and meditation to approve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, asking only for his will for us and the power to carry that out. And once again, I have this moon shadow because the moon shadow is rare and it's also difficult to see. But if you stand in just the right place, you will see a shadow from the moon. So, what I'd like to do right now, if anyone would like to share on this, is basically what you do as your spiritual practice. I know this is something we could not share when we didn't know each other, but now most of us know each other, so we can share on basically what we do as a spiritual practice. I'm curious about this, which is why I put this in the big room share as opposed to the in the breakout rooms, because I don't get to be part of the breakout rooms, and I want to hear what people do for their spiritual practice. Katya, to you.
Thank you. I want to say that I read step 11 this morning and I felt such gratitude, peace, enlightenment, everything that you can imagine. Really amazing and really touched my heart. I don't know if it has to do with the type 8, but I am very busy doing other things, except going into what step 11 said this morning. Very busy. I don't have time to pray or to meditate. I'm too busy, too busy. Of course, I think this is like, oh, no. I don't know if I am going to give you the control. I need the control. What's going to happen, as I have said many times before, but I almost wanted to cry because of the sensation I got that there was the answer in this step 11. So I am going to do it right today, starting today to do that. And I am very, very grateful for that step 11. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Katya. Yeah, and I will say, I believe with all my heart that if we seek God, He will find us, and it can be in a second. It doesn't have to be, these big, long, do I wish that? No, I actually don't. But there's a part of me that wishes I could be a monk that's locked away somewhere that I would be so fucking bored. There's no way. There's no way. Right. So even just in a minute, just God, please. There's a book out there by Anne Lamott called, oh, I'm going to get it wrong. Help something. Wow. Help. Anyway. And it's a book that basically just says, if you just say, God, help, right? That's seeking God, and he will find you. And I do believe that, right? So, and some of it probably is an excuse because I'm really bad at taking the time. There are people that, and so I spend half an hour in a meditation. I have like a 3-minute meditation. Okay, I'm done. I've meditated, right? So I'm trying to be better, but so thank you, Katya. I get it.
I want to say something very quickly. I have been receiving answers, Cher, right away. By all, this is a daily basis commitment, all the time. And as I know now that I am human, I thought I wasn't human. I was perfect. Now I know I will, how do you say, I will go back and then move again forward. And it's human, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we begin with this idea that recovery is going to be this linear thing where I climb this, but that isn't the way it works. We're circling, and it's right. And I saw something last week that was talked about. It's like a log that we hold on to that saved our life, and then we circle the log, right? And the log is between us and recovery, but that's okay. We circle it, right? And that's what happens. So, and the acknowledgement. That's why, by the way, I think, like, you look at step 1, I'm acknowledging that I have no power at all over reality other than acceptance of reality. And I'm really bad at acceptance, right? So which is the reason I stay in the 12 steps. So thank you, Katya. Okay, Linda, to you, then Melissa, then Jennifer, then Maria. So go ahead, Linda.
Hi. In my years of recovery, I know that I kind of like sought out, like, how do I do this meditation thing? And so, a group of us that were doing a step study, and then we somebody knew something about meditation, and she came in and did some guided meditations with us, and that all kind of fell off. So I've been going kind of, in and out of a practice and not having anything regular. About a month and a half or 2 ago, I had mentioned to someone during a meeting, or I heard her say that she doesn't do a regular practice. And I said, I don't either. You want to meet on Zoom and do this practice? And since she's still working, it's 15 minutes during the week and a half hour on the weekends. And just, I love having that regular practice again. There were other times when I did do a regular practice and I could just see the opening up of answers and seeing my part in things. And I just have found it so wonderful and helpful.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, it's amazing how much better our life is when that is included, for sure. All right, Melissa, to you. And then Jennifer, Maria, Sarah, and Tamara. Go ahead, Melissa.
Hello, big howdy to you guys. I'm so glad to be here. I've been writing down. Here's the thing. My spiritual life and cultivation of my conscious contact is a lot like sort of like my exercise program and physical means. I used to think if I thought about exercise, that would sort of make me fit. Guess what? Didn't work at all. If I thought about it, yeah, I just thought about it and probably feel guilty about not doing it. So is my spiritual life. So here is what I'm written down in my little Enneagram journal. Folks, go get a little blank book for Enneagram insights. I wrote this down. What I'm willing to do is read in the big book pages 83 to 88 every morning. It's a short read, probably takes 3 minutes. It sets me right for what my purpose is for the day as a person in recovery. What I'm also willing to do, not every day because this takes a while, but I'm willing to do two-way prayer and get profound answers from my higher power if I do that. This is a surprise to me. This is as of last week, and Cher knows this because I talked to her last week. When I was in Wisconsin, some miracles started happening in my life. And it was a result of me going back to some of my childhood faith traditions and rituals. I was raised Catholic. I shunned it for a very long time because I didn't like the rules. So there's a softening in my heart, and I'm willing to go back to some of their prayerful ideas. So it's like a way of being in meditation using their techniques. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. My heart's been softened to go find it again, and I can't believe how powerful it is. Lastly, the written 10 step in the morning after a bad day is a powerful experience. I can't do it in the moment. Are you kidding? I am trying to put the fire out that's in my head, and my hair's red to show it's on fire, so I can't think right until the day after. Now I have criteria to go, okay, what was being triggered? What patterns were erupting? What can I do about it today? Do I owe an apology, or do I need to bring it more to God and get some clarity? So those are the 4 things that I'm willing to do. And it's like starting on an exercise program and consulting a doctor first. I'm consulting you guys for accountability. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Melissa. All right, Jennifer, to you.
Hi, everybody. Well, Cher knows this. I'm going to be really irritating to everyone, but I'm going to be irritating because I also want to show that having a strong spiritual practice isn't necessarily enough to stop the compulsive overeating either. So one of the benefits of my first go round in OA was the 11th step. I realized, over the past year and a half since I came back into the rooms, oh my gosh, I didn't just abandon OA because my entire spiritual practice and ministry was born out of that. So I actually, in 2004, when I left a job, I went on a spiritual, what did I call it? I'm going on my spiritual path. I'm starting my spiritual path. And I began with a meditation class at the Open Center in New York City and ended up like doing these chakra meditations. This is classic 6, okay? I would spend sometimes 2 hours every morning because I had left my job. So I had time to make sure that I did this crystals and this recording I had and made sure I hit every chakra, like doing it right. But it set the framework for what has been a daily meditation practice for me that really was born of desperation. When I think of how crazy I am, when I think of how I would be if I did not have my practice, I'm astounded and I'm grateful for as much as I have. So I really am one of those 45-minute every morning type people. I can count pretty much on two hands the number of times I have not done my practice in the morning since 2004. Yes, indeed. Sometimes it's 5 minutes when I'm really under stress, um, have to sleep late and the like, but it's like brushing my teeth. I don't even feel, I can't not do it. And I'm glad for that imperative. It has been as much, if not more, part of my therapeutic process and my trauma healing as it has been spiritual. The two are very, very combined for me, but I lean into it. I need it desperately. And it's not prayer. I'm still not good with prayer. I don't particularly care for prayer. But I heard in a meeting yesterday, I just loved it. It was my secular OA meeting. And the guy said, I don't believe in prayer, but damn, if I don't say like, help, what the F am I supposed to do right now? And he was like, I guess that's what they're talking about when they say prayer. And so I love that. But I do love sitting. I love tracking. It's what allowed me with the intuitive eating, right? So I started all of that stuff together. And so being able to be still, be quiet. I do meditation retreats once a month. I do what I call a half day Zazen Kinhin on Saturdays. I have done as much of it as a 10-day silent meditation retreat, but it's helpful and useful, and it's not enough for me because I was still able to get back in the food during COVID, and I'm still not the person that I want to be with my relationships. And so I have to work just as hard as I would think even without the spiritual practice. But it's my balm. It really is my balm.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I think, yeah, that's why there's 12 steps and not one. If there's one step that just said, seek conscious contact with God, right, there'd be one. But there isn't one. There's 12. All right. Yeah. And I do think this ties back. I know I'm going to say it again. Growth and comfort do not hold hands, right? They just don't. So if we want to grow, which means I'm going to have to just accept I'm going to be uncomfortable. And for me, you know what I do when I'm uncomfortable? I eat unhealthy foods. It's what I do. It's my coping mechanism, right? Did it save my life? You bet it did. You bet it did. Does it now? No, but right. Okay. And just even bringing that from that unseen thing to where it's sitting right in front of me and being able to look at that and not hate myself over it, even all of that is such growth. Yeah. So yeah, but and I have to say, I don't generally go to envy, but man, I envy the fact that you have a practice like that. It's like I wish I did. And yeah, I and maybe by my Enneagram type, maybe I don't know. I should talk to some eights and ask them what they do too, because it's really hard. I tried. I'll just, this is a quick story. So I turned on this meditation thing that said, you just listen through this and right, and they do whatever. And I'm so relaxed. I'm like, this is great. And I'm so relaxed. And then the person talks again. And I realized I wasn't relaxed. I was asleep. I was asleep because it woke me up. I was like, well, damn. It was very pleasant, but it wasn't meditation, I don't think. Anyway, thank you.
Depending on the lineage, there are some who say that counts. Now, the Zen people will hit you on your knuckles and make you wake up. But
like with the newspaper, like you do a puppy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, Sarah, to you.
Hi, everybody. I was raised, I'm sure I've talked about this, I was raised really evangelical growing up. And so I kind of deconstructed from that in my 20s and my 30s. And so when I came into a 12-step program in my late 30s, I was like, oh my God, are they going to tell me to go back to church? Like, what are they going to make me do? You know, because I knew it was like spiritual. I knew that they talked about God, but I didn't. So anyway, I was so desperate that if they told me I had to go back to church, I definitely would have done that. And I'm really glad that they didn't. Not to say there's anything wrong with church, it's just not for me anymore. And so one of the things that, as I've been reclaiming my spiritual life, so growing up super Christian, one of the things you're not allowed to do is like tarot. And so I've been teaching myself the tarot in the last year. I've taken a tarot class. I've got like a bunch of books. And so I've incorporated some of my step 10 questions into my daily journaling with my tarot. So it's like, plus the type 2 mantra, like the I can't think of it all of a sudden, but it's there. Like I ask for what I need and ask again,
There you go.
and because it comes from a full well. And so I incorporated that into my daily journaling with my tarot as well, and it's been really wonderful. It's a great way for me to have like learning the cards, learning the meaning, and also like learning what they mean to me. I wouldn't say that I'm not much of a future like I really think that the future is always changing and it's very fluid. So when I read the cards, I kind of read them for myself in this moment, in this time, because I do think the future now, I'm not saying everyone practices the same in that regard, but I can't see the future. That's not my case. So, but when I do enjoy the practice and I love the art, and I've kind of gotten to where I'm like, oh, how many decks is too many? But I do love it, and it's become this. When I was growing up, my spirituality really wasn't my own. It was how the church dictated it to be. And so this process has given me this like ownership of like doing something that was forbidden and like incorporating it into my spiritual practice has really made it to where this like taking ownership of my spiritual life, taking ownership of who I am and what I believe happens in this life. And so I don't meditate. I would love to learn how. I know there's something called one of my sponsors told me about it. I can't remember the name of it. And there's all these different ways to meditate, and I really haven't gotten there. And so maybe at some point with my higher power, I will find my way into better meditative. But my brain is just doesn't know how to be quiet. So I don't really meditate well. But this practice of like pulling the cards and like thinking about that and like just dwelling, I guess, on that card in that moment in that day, that's as close to meditating as I've been able to really get. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because that's what I do. So thanks.
I think that's awesome. So everybody knows that has heard my history. I wasn't raised religious at all. I went away to a religious school, and there's some quotes from the Bible that I just love. And one is, all things work together for those that love the Lord, right? So it's like, yeah, everything does. And I think that practice that you're talking about is a meditation. It is that, right? I heard one time somebody said this because I was early in program. And I said, because I don't believe that the future is fixed. I do think God has a plan, but we have choice. And the person said she thought about it like a kaleidoscope, that it's in place, and then I choose over here, and then the kaleidoscope changes, right? And it's like, okay, I can embrace that. And so that's kind of the way that I look at that. And as it's really weird. I don't pay too much attention at all to like movie stars or anything like that. I don't give a shit about any people like that. They poop like everybody else does, right? So they might have talent, which is great, but I don't think about it. But the fact that Diane Keaton died just threw me for a loop. And I'm not usually thrown, but Annie Hall is no longer here. I mean, yeah. Anyway, and it was really surprising to me that I was like, oh my God, right? And I think as you get older, there's fewer and fewer people your age around, which should not come as a shock to me, but it does. What can I say? Anyway, but Sarah, that is a spiritual practice, and that is a type of meditation, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's awesome. I had tarot cards years ago, and one of the things it lets me do is lets me look at things slightly differently. It's like just a little step to the left, and now I'm seeing things that I hadn't seen before. I have a way to view it that I hadn't looked at before, and I think very helpful, right? So thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. All right, Tamara, to you, and then Lauren. Go ahead, Tamara.
Wow, so much in there. Speaking of people not being around, I've spent this weekend and one more day. I'm in Idaho at the family's place of origin, and there's a 90-year-old cousin's birthday, and I'm with my almost 90-year-old dad, my 92-year-old aunt, my 83-year-old aunt, my 85-year-old uncle and his wife. And so they talk about that a lot. Everybody's dying, but these people are all alive. And as far as spirituality, which is the topic, I grew up like you. My dad said, people who believe that kind of stuff are idiots. And so I've been a seeker my whole life just because there was something missing. But my practice, back to the question, I've tried to incorporate the mantra, which I really love, for the 6. faith is believing in things unseen and I'm guided within. But up until now, I mean, starting in like 2017, was dealing with pretty serious, at least sadness, depression. And I sat down and wrote out a schedule for myself so that I could keep on track, just my mind. So every morning, in kind of like the 6, but not quite, it's different, but I get up and now I listen to the 2-minute recording of strengthening my recovery. I'm still in bed. It's like, I don't like getting up in the morning. So I'm in bed and I'm listening to something. I'm not even reading, I'm listening. And then I also switch immediately while I'm still in bed to the Insight Timer and listen to a 5 or 10-minute morning meditation. And then I'm kind of like, well, I got to get up because the rest of my practice still is coming, where I make my green tea, I make my cacao, I make my smoothie, I do 5 to 20 minutes of a little yoga practice most days. I'm trying to get into the practice of reading something from a daily reader. I was doing really well, but it falls off. And what I want, and I feel like that is what grounds those things, and the breathing while I'm listening to the meditations I'm doing, because I wake up with anxiety because I'm 6, right? Or I might not be because I'm a 6, but I wake up with anxiety, and I do the 4-7-8 breathing just to really get me calm and, say yesterday was fine, today's going to be fine. And then I make my lunch, and but I want to add in at the end of the day, I want to add in the step 10 review. It's slowing down because I can so relate to the 8. I'm so busy, and I'm so tired because I'm so busy. And the racket sheet that I did, the primary one I did was, I have tried for, I'll just say it, at least a decade to go to bed on time. I'm a grown person. I cannot go to bed on time. It's not that I can't go to sleep. It's just, I can just get one more thing done. Or this is the last, this hour I can have for myself. And so then it's just this vicious cycle. I'm too tired. So I need to get that racket sheet back out and have the end of my day be the review. This is what I want to have happen. And then in the morning, do the step 11 prayer. So that's my practice and the things I'd like to add in. And I don't feel like it's obsessive. I don't miss it very often because it just is really like breathing. I now understand when you go to yoga teacher training and all that, it's like, well, you really should get up at like 4 a.m, before the sun. I'm like, what the? Look. But I understand if you don't get up at 4 a.m, you don't have time to do all this stuff that keeps you sane. So I'm resistant to 4, but maybe 4:30 because it just takes time to do the things you need to do to keep your little self going. Anyway, thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much. And it's really interesting because the Japanese, when they serve tea, not every time they serve tea, but basically that itself can be a meditation because you are so present to that, right? And I love that. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And yes, 6s, because they wake up with anxiety. And what's really interesting, this is why I find the Enneagram so interesting, is we all believe that other people wake up the same way we do. They're just better at lying about it than anyone else, right? That's not true. We all wake up differently, and almost always by type, because that's when you are your most true self, is you wake up and it's just you and God, right? So anyway, yeah, thank you so much for that, Tamara. All right, Lauren, to you, and then Maria.
Good morning. I should start off by saying good morning. I'm feeling really shy about talking about this, and I don't want to say much other than I'm really open to a lot. And my openness, I enjoy it, I think, for the most part, but it's getting me into a bit of trouble right now, in my own mental trouble. And I know it's coming down to I know I'm going to have to decide, and I don't want to pick and decide. I would rather just stay open to the things. And I have a deck of tarot too, and I don't like to talk about that very much at all because, I feel conflicted in my own self because I'm literally okay with it, but I know that a lot of circles aren't okay with it. Anyways, my ears feel like they're on fire. I don't know why I am feeling kind of shy to share, but I love this kind of talk, and I really love hearing people's practices. I almost think that I'm addicted to this. This is one of the things I'm addicted to. Somebody kind of joked about it, I think. Was it just Tamara? Anyways, so yeah. And I don't know, like I've blended because I've done a lot of the things and I don't have a depth which people could criticize, and that's fair, right? You know, like I would blend a Hindu belief or tradition with a Buddhist one, and I'm finally starting to understand some of the divisions within Buddhism. And you know, there's a reason why some of our ancestors fought over these things, you know. So anyways, that's all I'll say. Really enjoy this. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the fact that we all have our own higher power. We all have a different way that we go toward our higher power, right? Yeah, and I love that. And I love that Surrender School says, you be you. We don't care, right? Whatever it is that helps you live a better life, draw closer to whatever you call the spirit of the universe, and be able to align with that and be happy, live a good, happy life. I mean, that sounds trite probably, but man, I lived an angry life for so many years and now I mean, I get angry. I get irritated. Every once in a while I get angry. It's really rare though. And I used to live in anger. So my life is so dramatically different. And Surrender School has helped that so much. Teresa, I saw that I don't usually look at the thing. I saw that you wake up with anxiety. I think everyone can but for a different reason, right? I think there are, if change is coming and you can sense change is coming, you always wake up with anxiety. After my mother died, I was very, very anxious when I woke up in the morning because I realized each day that she had died, that she wasn't there anymore. Right. And I would wake up with this just horrible fear. So I can understand the way sixes wake up because I have done that in my life where I woke up, right? You wake up and then it's like, oh my God, my mother died, you know, and it was horrible. I was a teenager and it was horrible, I have to say. So I can at least comprehend at least a little bit if you wake up with anxiety, what that feels like, right? So, which then allows me to feel very strong compassion for the way the six wakes up or the way a changing two can wake up. So, absolutely. All right, Maria, to you.
Maria Grassi. So I have to do this. No, I choose to do this most days because I need to get in touch with myself before I can even consider my greatest powers. So no particular order. Prayer. I check my inner dialogue. I speak kindly to myself with gentleness, compassion, and self-love. As an adult child, I connect to my inner children. I do a gratitude list, A to Z, set boundaries with myself, breathing techniques, and some somatic practices, plain quiet time. Sometimes force myself to mix with people, or that's often, in fact. So even strangers, so, you know, a pleasantry of hello or something. Meditation, self-reflection. I go to meetings most days, sometimes two. Journaling, sharing, carrying the message, speaking in meetings, which is always a challenge for me, but very rewarding. Recovery works, some homework, creativity, dog walking, getting in touch with nature, reading literature, Enneagram thought of the day, and as a two, my mantra, ask for what you want and ask again for the best love comes from a full well. So I can think of right now. Pass.
Thank you, Maria. All right, Jasmine, to you.
My life can vary a lot because it's kind of hectic sometimes, but I try to stick as close to routine as possible. But the first part of it is not doing a thing and just thanking God for the day, asking Him to take my wheel, and praying for another day of sobriety. So it's really simple. If I don't get anything else done, I'm going to do that, and I need to read some type of scripture to be able to feel oriented to life and awake and present and conscious. Another thing that's been really interesting, I've been on vacation for a week. We went on a family trip and we went to South Carolina and learned about the Gullah Geechee, and these were spiritual people. And I could possibly have some roots with the Gullah Geechee of South Carolina, and my grandmother is Native American. So I watched the moon and like the sunsets and the sunrises, and I felt really, I don't know, it was weird. I felt really connected to it somehow. So I think I'm going to keep doing that, and I'll pass.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I just think that I love hearing about people's spiritual path and also just the spiritual practice each day. But I'm with you, Jasmine. It's like there are days I go and go, what the hell is the matter with today? It's like, well, you didn't even say, hi, God. I mean, nothing, right? And then it's like, what the hell? So yes. And I will say, I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that that I miss the King James version of the Bible, which I read when I was a kid or when I was a teenager or whatever, after my mom died. And I miss it because it's very poetic. I just happened to mention that. And Teresa Z bought me and sent me a Bible of the King James version. And I'm just so delighted. It's beautiful. It has this lovely leather feel to it. Two things I want to share. As a 2, she gives, gives, gives. As an 8, I refuse gifts. So I'm like, okay, I have to decide, do I want to help her grow or I want to help me grow by accepting a gift, right? That was a real conundrum for me. And I decided that's part of, I have to do that. And we talked back and forth and I'm just like, this is a lovely thing to do, but you are just a giver. And I am not a receiver. And she convinced me that it was a good idea. So I did. And Teresa, I want to thank you for that. I do read it every day. I haven't read the Bible since I was in college. I just don't, that's not something I do. But I think the King James is beautiful. It has the S on the end of these words and everything, but it's just so beautifully written. So anyway, and so it's poetry to my soul, and I appreciate it very much. So Teresa, thank you for doing that. So I want to say one of the things it tied back, Jasmine, to what you said. It's like, regardless of anything else, the way that I feel in my spiritual practice is I know that I am loved. And with everyone else in my life, this is going to sound mean to myself because it is mean. I believe that the people that they love me in spite of me, not because, in spite of who I am, instead of because of who I am. And it doesn't mean it's true, but that's what I've told myself all these years as an 8, that those that love me in spite of the horrible person I am. And they are such wonderful people that they put that aside and love me anyway. But God doesn't do that. God loves me exactly as I am. Right. So to me, I can relax into that. Now I'm good with that part of it, that God loves me anyway. What I need to do is stop telling myself that people love me in spite of me. That's a horrible thing to say to myself all the time. And I just learned that in the class that I took this morning, right? I mean, that this Build Yourself Up Without Limits, which frankly, I thought was going to be this trite little book and whatever, I'll go to it. Oh my God, it knocked me on my ass. So anyway, yeah. And it's like, okay, can I be kinder to myself than that? That's a horrible way that's a horrible thing to say to yourself, right? Even if it's true, it's a horrible thing to say to yourself. And notice that there's still that edge. So what can I say? All right, everybody good? All right, thank you so much for sharing on that. I want to talk for just a second. Years ago, when I was just a fledgling at the spiritual thing, I can remember I was married and I said to my husband that I had this list of all these things I wanted God to do. And my husband said to me, you know that God's not Santa Claus, right? So I was like, what? I also remember when I was at that little college, there was this song called Peace, Perfect Peace. And there was a line in there that said, may thy will, not mine, be done. May thy will and mine be one. And I can remember going, yeah, I don't like that part at all, right? Because I like to be in control. I'm an 8. So that completely makes sense. So one of the things, I'm going to stop sharing now, just realize God is not Santa Claus. You don't give him a list and he fulfills the list. That doesn't work that way. And Herb K talks about that true happiness in your life. Having a good life means there is a will that is God's will. And when we align with that, greater power, whatever, when we align with that, we're happy. When we are in unalignment with it, we are unhappy. I choose to be happy. So, I guess what I have resisted the two-way prayer. I don't know why. And mostly because I'm also learning that a lot of people live in shoulds. I should do this. I should do that. I should do that. I'm an 8. So the minute anybody says should, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. Even if there's things that I want to do, if there's a should attached to it, forget about it. I will not do it. And I realized that at this thing this morning too. So I have not been doing a two-way prayer in any way, like at all. I'm not even quite sure what it is. And this is the first time in this Enneagram course that I am not going to teach you anything about a two-way prayer. We're going to go directly into the breakout rooms, And you're going to share on whatever it is you did with the two-way prayer. And if you didn't do anything with it, that was the assignment, was out there as part of the assignment. If you didn't do anything with it, listen carefully to what other people are saying. I'm probably going to stay in a breakout room because I want to hear what people say. Now, the reason I usually don't stay in a breakout room is because I don't want to put pressure on the leader of the breakout room that they have to do it right. By now, you know me well enough that I could give a rat's ass if you do it right. So hopefully whatever room I end up in, you'll be okay with it. All right, everybody ready to go to the breakout room? And here's the thing. You can share on the two-way prayer if you did one or do one generally. You can do that. And if you don't want to share on that, then just share on your spiritual practice, what you do or don't do, right? I think by now everybody gets, there's some people that have a really nice ritual that they do every day. I am not one of those people, but it's all good. It's all good. And we're all growing. All right. We're going to go into rooms. Are you ready, Lori? All right. So let me give you what your assignment is. You're going to read the intro, the living, the awakening, practice these principles, and then service for your type. Okay. So you want to do through the quick checks. And then after that, there's some questions and that kind of stuff that we'll do as homework for next week. So right now it's basically through, there's a section just below the discernment. And you want to do that because that's all about service. So let's talk for a second about that. And then I'm just going to open it for sharing and however you want to share. But so the step 12 service, obviously, we're going to use that, at least a bit of it, as an advertisement for Service to Surrender School, because we really, there have been so many people that have stepped up, which is wonderful. And we really want to encourage you. And what the beginning of the step 12 thing talks about is by type. Can you, by type, determine the type of service that really matches what you want to do? What we don't want is people doing things that don't match the things that they want to do. I had a friend a long time ago, and he basically traveled around to churches and talked about how to take care of their volunteers. And I remember I was talking to him, and I said, so your volunteers, what is it that you teach them? And he said, well, really, we're not teaching the volunteers. We're teaching the people that are utilizing the volunteers for them to realize that volunteers are called too. It's not just the preacher that is called. It's not just the leader that is called. It's like each individual is called to do a different type of service. And so, and that's what we want to be sure that when you're going through step 12, almost through the eye of how, in what way. Now, some of you like full-time jobs and kids at home, and you've got all this stuff going on, completely understandable. So this is not in any way so everyone must serve at all. But basically what it says is well, you know what? Just showing up is service. Sharing is service. Being part of what's going on and part of the community is service. So, which is awesome. And I want everybody to realize that. But if you feel called to do service above that, this is a good chance for you to take a look and say, what kind of service is there? So, and we want to encourage you to do that. All right. So with that in mind, I'm just going to open it for any kind of share. So we have 2 weeks left. So next week, Richard is going to cover the Hornevian groups, right? And then the final week, we're going to basically put the Hornevian and we're going to actually kind of play a game of sorts and put the harmonic and the Hornevian together. And we're going to play kind of a little game, and that'll be part of that, but not much, because really what I want that final week is for as many people who are willing to share the one little area, if it is a little area, that you have grown because of the work that you've done at the Supercharge. And did it supercharge your recovery, right? That's what we want, but that's 2 weeks from today. All right, but for right now, and if you feel compelled to share it now, that would be awesome too. Wouldn't mind that at all. So anyway, I'm just going to open that up. And once again, or if you want to share more about your spiritual practice, that'd be great too. Whatever you want to share on would be perfect. Go ahead, Melissa.
I just want to say thank you for this most rich day, as we could safely unfold our wings together and share how we all practice in our own unique, like, kaleidoscope way. Because we are little, like, I love that kaleidoscope imagery. We're all little fragments of those little pieces of glass, bringing something beautiful to the table. And what I love so much about the Safety in Surrender School, cultivated by you guys and the board, is there is this overarching feeling of there's room for everybody under the tent. And there's not. And in fact, that's what makes it so healthy and organic for our souls. I know people in Friendly Circle Berlin is hosting at the end of this month, in the end of October, a man who got very disillusioned with his experience in AA because it was too, hey, better not stop identifying as a person and like was an alcoholic, better not lose sight of the fact that you were once a drunk. But that's what he kept on hearing. And from that rigidity, he kind of launched away and found his spirituality. So I feel like Surrender School offers something incredible for allowing the unfolding, as we all need different things, and Enneagram helps us pay attention to what our unique needs are. I just can't say enough thanks. I just cannot say enough. Like, right time, right place, everything. Grateful. Thanks.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel just so blessed. By the way, this is the first time that I have participated in a breakout room, and I understand why you guys love the breakout rooms. I completely get it because it was lovely. It was wonderful. All right, Teresa, to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment and say thank you too. Surrender School like really helped me feel like, like an unconditional love, that it's okay to be myself and accept all the parts. Like, yes, I'm a helper. I'm going to be a helper. But I'm learning where to give it, when to give it, and when to walk away without guilt is a major thing for me. Yeah, and it's just like, we're all here together, for the same thing, them to change and grow together. I don't know, I just feel such a part of this meeting, and I'm really grateful for learning and listening for everything from everyone. So I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, and welcome back. I hope your vacation was lovely. Thank you. All right, Tamara, to you.
I've mentioned before that I just started in the any 12-step program like a year and a half ago. And so, not that I haven't gone to therapy, I'm actually a licensed therapist, all that. But I just feel so grateful and blessed that I found Supercharge, because it's like when I first started in ACA, it's like, man, these people have been in this for 30 years, 15 years, 10 years. I'm like, man, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it before I'm not here anymore. And so but Supercharge is like, oh, I'm catching up. I'm supercharged, and I'm going to still have a whole bunch of years of life to not be doing this thing. I mean, I'll still be doing it, but I won't be, like 20 years so of figuring it out. So thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Sorry, I don't
Go
know.
ahead, Go ahead, Lauren. Go ahead.
My electronic hand today.
Okay.
I just, I'm feeling a little verklempt, as they say, and there's no reason to, but give an ounce of a reason to, and here we are. But for some of us who've then been trudging the road, trying to hitting our head on the wall, thinking that there's something wrong with us. It isn't so it's like whenever I'm coming into conflict again, at least I didn't even know what shame was. And that might sound stupid. I mean, I could give it some flippant words or something, but to know that it's this hardcore, unworthiness underneath it is like, there's my blind spot, and I've been looking for it for a long time. So I'm looking at the step 12 step here. It's absolutely beautiful, and just want to express my gratitude like others are sharing. So thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And I want to say too that when we can reach the point, last year there was a woman named Sandra, and she was a 9, and she said, "Oh, I see you, anger, my old friend," and that helps me. Right. And so for the 2, 3s, and 4s to be able to say, "Oh, I see you, shame. I see you. I see that." And there's just a softening, because what we resist persists. And we don't, even though we can say that, we don't get it until we're like, and I realize the thing from this morning talked about all the shoulds, and I don't do anything I should. I won't. But do you see what just happened there? I am resisting the should, which means there's some things that I really probably need to do that I'm not doing because there's a should attached to them, and I'm not. It's walking, it's working out. It's like, seriously? So no, I don't should, but whatever is that opposite, I'll come up with something. I'm that, right? It's like, okay, seriously, right? So yeah, and I don't know, it's always an adventure. All the things that we're learning, such an adventure as we go through this. But I'll tell you what, that maybe there needs to be, instead of just the anger, I see you, anger, my old friend, because it's rare for me to get angry, but this whole should thing where I have this layer of never will I do what I should do. Well, that's really smart. Right. So anyway, I'll figure that out. That's the next thing I'm working on this week for sure. All right. But thank you, Lauren, for that. Yeah, I just think when we can see that underlying emotion for my type, it's anger for me, shame for 2, 3, and 4, fear for 5, 6, and 7, we can say, oh, I see you. I see you. I see it. Okay, that's good. And I learned this, I've said this before. My dog barks, just or screams or makes some kind of noise. And I learned from a dog trainer, and it works. I walk over to where the dog is. I look at what he's looking at, and I say, I see it, let it go. And he'll come with me. All he wants is to alert me to it, right? I'm like, who knew this? I usually yelled at him. Right? That worked really well. So this is better. It works. Thank you, Lauren. All right, Ambra, to you.
I have a question. I have 2, 3 questions around the process or whatever. Like, one is the homework. It's read the 12
Step
step,
12. Step 12.
and that's it. No, I answer some question, right?
No, you're not, you're just above the questions. You want to read the questions are for next week or the week after. So you're going to read the intro, and then there's like 3 sections, and up to the end of, what are they called, Joy?
Quick scripts.
So you
Okay.
want to read through the quick scripts, and then you're done. And then the final week, we will answer those reflection questions and the bottom. So it's about a little more than probably 2/3 of step 12 is what you're doing for this week.
Got it. Okay, wonderful. Okay, I just want to say quickly that I love the way that Enneagram put the focus on, especially for 4 in the 12, no, in 11 step about what God wants and not what my emotional intensity is supposed to do or want or will or whatever, which is, I meditate more in this level of my life, which is crazy for me. I can't steal for 5 minutes sometimes, but no, I can't even for 30 minutes. Even distractive, doesn't matter. Okay, I just want to say I love this process. Okay, yeah, you say that, but I want to re-ask you. Like we done in December or before, maybe
We're
November.
finished with all of this. October 26th is our last day.
Okay, it's like right now almost.
It's
And
soon. It's soon. Yeah.
it's soon. And another question is the second level of Supercharge. What is the core of that? Just to it's another year.
It is still working the steps by type, but it's going deeper. We go deeper.
It's the same and go more deeper.
Deeper. And
Oh
it'll
my
be
God.
and it'll work from January 10th, I think it is, whatever it is that it's not, I don't think it starts the 4th. I think it's the 10th, all the way through mid-June, just before the retreat, which we designed it that way because then we want people to come to the retreat here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
On the 12th,
And
13th, and 14th of June.
Same time? We don't know. You don't know if it's the same time.
The retreat is in person in Las Vegas.
I got it now. Same time around the
will it
time.
be? Yes, this time slot will be the same for next year too. Yes.
Got it. It's 6 months. Go deeper about the same work.
Yeah, it's about 5.5 months. Yep, going deeper.
Okay.
And are you all going
good.
deeper? How can we go deeper? But yeah, it's just yeah, it's deeper. I'm excited.
Okay, thank you. Without sponsor, it's like the last year. We have some buddy partner, but it's not.
So yeah, and once again, I want to talk for a second because we get questions about sponsors, right? So and I'm going to be, this is Cheryl's honesty, right? My honesty. One of the reasons, we've never expressed this specifically, but I'll say it this way. One of the reasons that we don't do that is because Surrender School is very you be you, right? You have a greater power that's going to help you with whatever. And what we don't want is somehow that Surrender School is sponsoring a sponsor who says, if you eat an extra green bean, get on your knee. It's like, no, that is not the way we look at it. It's not even about food. It's not about food at all. It's not about alcohol. It's about these addictive practices that we have. We're addicted to our personality is what we really are. We fight reality because of that. And so we don't want to sponsor sponsors, right? Because We just don't. It seems counter to what we're doing in Surrender School, which is why we don't have like a sponsor list, because there's no are there sponsors who could there be sponsors who basically align with what we're doing in Surrender School? Well, yeah, of course, but we don't want to have to track that. We don't want to have to like verify sponsors. We don't want that, right? And what we don't want is someone who comes here with an open heart ends up with a sponsor who tells them that if they eat an extra green bean, they're an evil person. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? So we don't do that, right? So, and even though people ask for sponsors, trust me, you are happy that we are doing it this way. Trust me. I think you will be happier that we don't do that. Now, with that having been said, you will hear shares here, and that people will share on the way they view the world, the way they, all of that. And when, especially if it's the same type as you can reach out to that person and say, hey, can we be partners in recovery? Can we walk this path together? Yes, we want that. It's the reason, by the way, oh, thank you. This reminded me. Okay, there are groups of people, like the 4s get together, the 9s get together, like that. Now, I want to talk for a second about that. We did not advocate that early on, because early on, at the very beginning of the Supercharge, everybody's kind of celebrating their own particular weirdness. Like, let's say we have a group of 8s. We're all like, yeah, and so I get in their face, and yeah, so I get in their face. We don't want that. What we want is for us to learn, what does the true self of the 8 look like? And we're at the time now that it makes perfect sense for 4s to get together, because they're compassionate with themselves and then therefore can be compassionate with others. So it doesn't end up being a group of everybody whining, right? Because we don't want that. And the same thing right now, there is a group of 9s, and I don't know, Lori, if you want to talk about the 9 group, but there are groups that have come together like this. So, and we love the fact that that's happened. We didn't advocate that early for the reason I just gave. We want to be sure that everybody's grown enough and you understand what the group is about. And it isn't an opportunity to sit down and compare our weirdness by type. That's not what it's about. It's about, because someone who is the same type as me can, like Dave and I have become very good friends because we have a similar view of the world, right? Because we're both 8s, and therefore, right, we have different, very different stories, but we can kind of talk through things and help one another in that, right? And I think the 2s certainly have done that with one another. Definitely the 4s have, and so have the 9s. And so that's something to look at. So 2 things here to help build the community. One is there someone here that would be a great partner in recovery for you? Reach out to them and see if that's something that you guys can work together. That'd be awesome. And the other is, if there is a group, we do not sponsor the group. It is not under the auspices of Surrender School, because that's, once again, it's not what we do. But if there is a group that wants to get together, and I think, Lori, I know you had talked earlier just about sharing how you put this together. So go ahead if you would. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, this is wonderful. This happened at the Michael Naylor's last book study about type 9. And it just seemed to be good timing. And I reached out and we formed a really nice group. We meet, it just was a casual thing. It's completely separate from Surrender School. It's on a private Zoom room, a Zoom account. It's on our time. There's no, yes, all of us are from Surrender School, but there's no guidance from Surrender School. But it's just been quite wonderful. And we have a chat group, just a text group on our phones. We don't have anyone international. Of course, if we had an interest that way, we would look at doing a WhatsApp group. We are reading Michael Naylor's book, is what we decided to do. We're reading it outside and then sharing on it page by page. And we are just starting with the beginning and doing all the general stuff, and then we will skip right to step 9. And we're taking turns every week. Someone leads the meeting. We had a lovely idea for a format that is just really great, that keeps us moving and keeps us on track. And the thing, I call us the bobblehead group, because we're both, every time someone's sharing, the rest of us are all going like, I get it. And it's just at this point, and it is the perfect time now that once we've been through so much, going through the steps, that we can share and each other's struggles and also help each other grow, and use these steps to help us heal and help us grow into better nines. So
Awesome.
I think it's wonderful. And any of the others in the group want to share on that, please do so. But I would highly recommend it. But again, this is outside of Surrender School. You're certainly willing to publish it and, you know, gather names here in these meetings, but I would really recommend doing so at this time. And I was going to say something else, but it's gone. But anyway, thank you all.
So if you identify yourself as an Enneagram 9 and would like to be part of that, reach out to Lori and let her
Yes.
know that you'd like.
That's
to be
what I was
part
going
of
to say. Please do.
Yeah, you bet. And then, do we have any other groups, any other type groups out there? Go ahead, Melissa.
There is a type 4 Enneagram group, and the contact person would be Lauren, but I put my number right there. And why don't you go ahead and contact me? We can talk and I can tell you how to get in touch with Lauren. Okay. So my number's on there. What I wanted to say is my feeling about what I experienced in this magical carpet ride called Supercharge. It was like friggin' magical carpet ride, I got the aerial view of working the steps through the Enneagram. Next year, I'm going low and deep. And so we built scaffolding. I have a container in my head that has filing cabinet marks of, oh, this is step 1 and how it feels to be a type 4 when I'm working step 1. And then we move on. So that's cool. And so next year, I've got more capacity to put some more stuff in there. I'm feathering my nest of recovery next year with the preliminary box I built this year. So I'm excited about that. And it also gave me latitude to not be super upset if I couldn't make every meeting this time, because I couldn't. Life happened. So I'm so thankful for that. And lastly, I put it in the chat for anybody who's interested. If they've had experiences in any food fellowship where they felt, oh my gosh, they're just too rigid here. I can't relate to the rigidity, or that sponsorship didn't work for me. I found a different experience in Eating Disorders Anonymous, because the focus was not at all on food plans. They would say, if you want to talk about a food plan, we recommend finding a person who is maybe a dietitian who's eating disorder informed, and you work with them over there. But what we do together in Eating Disorders Anonymous is we work the steps, because it's a spiritual solution for what's ailing us in our hearts. So that was the focus. If you wanted to check that out, I just give it. And there's not a lot of sponsors there, by the way, just so you know. Don't worry if it takes you a few months to find a sponsor over there, because there's not a ton of them. So there you go. That's all I have. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks for recovering with us.